Being here in the sanctuary, I'm reminded of our founder, Rabbi Zeldin. Where other people saw an empty mountaintop, he imagined this city on the hill, which when I was growing up was called the shul with the pool. I wonder what it was like when he decided to begin our temple. Did he always believe it would work out? He probably did. When most people take a first small step to build a new synagogue, website, or completely new life, it is scary. I remember in religious school, Rabbi Zeldin taught us to open our books and read the words on the page. We were not meant to memorize the prayers. We had to see the words and the letters in front of us. I took away from this that we need to be present in the moment. We may be familiar with the prayer, but we need to bring all of our attention and focus. In so many ways, I have needed to stop, breathe, and see what is in front of me. In 2014, I returned to California after backpacking for 2 years in Asia. Because the man I had married, the man who stood in the huppah with me when Rabbi Zeldin sanctified our relationship, the man who was meant to treasure me was instead violent. Not only when I returned was I managing jet lag, culture shock, and my feelings of failure and embarrassment about my relationship, but also before departing on my backpacking adventure, I quit my job, sold my car, and rented out my condo. Yes, pretty much the definition of burning all of your bridges. Rabbi Hersher had counseled me before, when I dropped out of UCSF medical school, when my cruise line shut down 7 days after September 11th. But now, when I was getting divorced, he was going through his own evolution and retiring. He shared with me that his wise nephew counseled him. He did not need to know the next chapter. He only needed to turn the page. Just start with the next small step. I listened to his advice and took many small steps, which would add up to 50 challenges before I turned 50 and turn into a memoir called Brave-ish, 1 Breakup, 6 Continents, and Feeling Fearless After 50 that came out last week. Earlier this month for Selichot, Rabbi Yoshi taught about renewal and shared a quote from Elie Wiesel, who I had the privilege of hearing speak in this very room when he was interviewed by Rabbi Woznicka. Elie Wiesel said, God gave Adam a secret, and that secret was not how to begin, but how to begin again. I found that very powerful. We do not have to get everything right the first time. We can begin again. I taught science at Culver City Middle School, Curtis School, and Browerman School. And no matter if I was teaching 8th grade physics or 3rd grade earth science, when I started a new unit, someone would raise their hand and say, I don't get it. I would reply, stay with me, we will get there together. Children and adults feel uncomfortable in the newness. We do not want to give ourselves time to find our way out of the darkness. One thing that can help is to share your story with a trusted friend. They can act like a guide or feel like a flashlight to find your way out of a long, dark tunnel. We do not want to start over or feel uncertain, but the only certain thing in life is uncertainty. That's one of the important lessons of this time in the Jewish year. Tonight begins Sukkot when we dwell in temporary tents and eat outdoors under the stars. We remember feeling vulnerable. When the Jews left Egypt and walked for 40 years in the desert, they did not know what would happen next. My book starts when my life was shattered. I felt so scared and alone in Thailand. I had to decide what to do next. I thought about the times in the past when I turned to prayers. I remembered when I was on my bucket list trip in the Galapagos, I saw the blue-footed boobies, a creature I had dreamt about for decades and learned about from a book that was all about Darwin's expeditions and always wanted to visit. When I saw them, I sang Shehechianu, a prayer that praises making it to this time. I say it every time my plane lands in Israel. I said it to myself when I felt so alone in Chiang Rai, a tiny village 3 hours north of Chiang Mai in Thailand, because I was still alive. I thought about when I was trekking in Nepal for 16 days with no Sherpa. Every time the trail seemed too long or too steep or too hard, I sang to myself from Hashkivenu. I sang the words of Ufros Aleinu. I felt comforted in my best times and my worst times by thinking about being here at this temple, with the words of my rabbis and the songs from my cantors, and I knew I needed to return here to heal my heart and my body and my soul. We never know what will happen next. The best thing we can do is support each other. We are meant to invite others to be with us in our sukkah. We need each other to make it, whether in harvest time or time when you feel your life is collapsing. Sukkot is the only holiday where we are told to be happy. In fact, we are told 3 times that it is the season of rejoicing. After the prayers of the High Holy Days and this season of atonement and granting forgiveness, we can find joy and possibility. We can start again in the new year. We come together as a community and provide each other shelter. We take care of those in need. When everything in my life felt broken, I remembered I belonged here. In this community, I found shelter, a sukkah in the people around me with my family, my teachers, my tradition. I am grateful to Rabbi Zeldin for his teachings and for building this temple. When I felt so broken and moved back to Los Angeles, I came to Shabbat in this sanctuary. I took small action steps. I believed that things could be different. I fixed my vision, focused on my values, and embraced change. When you bring it all together, as I remember Rabbi Zeldin used to do, B for belief, R for resilience, A for action, V for values, and E for efforts, it spells brave. Hag Sameach.